Well, hello everybody. Welcome to P.B.M. Money. Today, I want to talk about a roadmap. No, not the old kind of roadmap that we used to use before the GPS, but a roadmap that will lead you further in your financial goals. How to get from where you are now to a better position. And I'm going to talk pretty much just in generalities. I'm teaching some people personally, and I've noticed some things, and it's mostly just common sense things, but for people that have never really sat down and gotten serious about it, this is going to be some good information. So the first thing you want to do is you want to figure out where you're spending your money. Right here, right now. For those of you that use debit cards, you need to get your bank statement. If you use credit cards, you need to get your statements. If you use a checkbook, you need to get your register. And get a piece of paper or on the computer. And I guess they've got software that does that. My son told me about one, but way too techy for me. And just start writing categories like eating out, clothing, hobbies, medical. I mean, whatever the category is that you're spending your money on, write it down, and then at the end of, and the further back you can go, the better, because the more information you have, the more accurate it will be. But I would do at least a minimum of 60 days. Just to see where your money's going. Once you figure out where your money is going, then you sit down and then you need to prioritize your bills. I mean, there are have-to bills and there are want-to bills. Have-to bills are a place to live, food, clothing, necessities. Want-to bills are Netflix, cell phone, hobbies, those kind of things. And you need to prioritize. And when you prioritize those, that's going to be important. Because one of the first things, once you figure out where your money's going, and you prioritize where your money's going, now we need to set up some financial guideposts of where you are and where you need to be. Now, one of the first things that people never ever think about, usually, I mean, if they're not finance oriented, people never think about this, they just deal with it when it happens. And I heard a statistic the other day that 90% of Americans do not have enough money in savings to handle a $1,000 problem. I'm sorry, but just about every problem a car is going to have these days is a minimum of $500 and close to $1,000. Your transmission fails, $1,800 minimum. So, the first thing that we need to do to add a little bit of stability to your finances is to get what they call an emergency fund. And what that is you get X amount of dollars and you set it aside in a savings account and you just leave it there. And every time there's a problem, you have a flat tire, you got to get your car towed, you got to go to the dentist and you got to pay deductible. I mean, whatever, you take your money out of your emergency fund and then you pay the bill. That way you're not scrambling trying to figure out how you're going to eat next month because you have to pay $500 for a water pump on your car. Okay? You've got the money, you pay the bill, you move on. So every month, it's kind of a lifetime thing. Every month you're putting X amount of dollars into your emergency fund or investing. Now, once you get, and I'm going to recommend up front $1,000 because like I said, 90% of Americans can't do that. So let's get $1,000. And even if it's $10 a week, $5 a week, whatever it takes, however long it takes, let's get to $1,000. Okay? Now, now we go over our budget. And here's how we're going to get the money. You go through your budget and you figure out, how can I get the same thing for less? And I'll tell you, one of the most common places to find it is eating out. The average person probably eats out 2 to 5 times a week. If you figure each time you go out, let's say it's a couple, each time you go out, it's a $30 bill. What if you went out one time a week and made it a date night and spent $30? You could save $30 a week. Do that 4 weeks, you just saved $120. In 9 weeks, you got your emergency fund just by skipping one dinner. Okay? Now, once you get to, not to $1,000, but you get to a point to where you're feeling like, I feel a little bit more comfortable, like maybe $500, I want you to take whatever amount it is your savings and do 2 things. Number one, I want you to, let's say you're saving $100 a month, okay, in your emergency fund. Let's just say, pick that number. I want you to have $50 a month automatically taken out of your checking account and put into a savings account. So you don't even see it, it's just done. The other $50, I want you to start investing. So now, you started out getting to a comfort level in your emergency fund. When you get to $400 or $500, then you automate it, half of it. And the other half, I want you to start investing. And you can make it as simple or as interesting as you want. You can put it into an index fund and move on, or you can sign up for Robinhood and play in the stock market. But I do want you to invest, because both of those are lifetime things that need to happen, and that's the way that you're going to build a little bit of cash and a little bit of security. Now, once you've done that for a while, I want you to get your budget and go back over your budget. Because now, after you've done this for a while, you've gotten, your mindset is a little bit more budget oriented and money oriented. Let's go back and look at your budget. Where else can we cut? Now, here's a couple of suggestions. If you're with one of the big phone companies, AT&T or one of those, how about going down, because the rules now, like T-Mobile, I got something in the mail from T-Mobile. I get 2 lines, unlimited everything, for $27.50 per month per line. So for $50, and I'm currently with AT&T and I'm paying $152 for 2 lines. Yeah, I'm going to change that. So, but you can always go and find, car insurance is another one. Spend an hour on the phone getting quotes, making sure you're comparing apples to apples, and see if you can save some money on your car insurance. But by redoing your budget with a different eye, rather than when we did it the first time, it was where can I save, where can I get some money to save? Now I want you to go back and look at it. How can I save more money? How can I become more frugal? With that money, I want you to invest all of it. So in my example, if I'm going to save $100 a month on my phone, I'm going to start investing an extra $100 a month. Now, once we've gotten through this, we've gone over the budget, we got $100 a month, we freed up, we got $500 working on $1,000 in our emergency fund, we're investing $50 a month, then we look back over our budget, try to squeeze some more cash out of it, and with that money, start investing. So now, if we saved $100, now we're investing $150 a month, and we're still automatically putting $50 into our emergency fund. And that's how you will become more stable in your finances. Now, here's the hard part for most people. Most people will jump up and they'll do this for 6 months. It's kind of like a New Year's resolution. They'll do everything I just said and they'll do it great, and they'll get the $500 and think, yeah, I'm good. Now I can start going back out twice a week. Or, yeah, I'm good. I want to do AT&T again. Or I want to sign back up for Netflix. So the hard part is to fine tune everything that you're doing along the way, every step, every week, every month, every year. I want you to fine tune it and stick with it. Always look for opportunities to save your money. Always look for opportunities to invest. And always look for opportunities to building your emergency fund. You should never be done with your emergency fund until you have at least 6 months of money of your expenses saved in your fund. Because the more you save, the more secure you are. And if you have 6 months of your living expenses saved, that means even if you lose your job, you're safe for 6 months, and you're not going to drain your finances and your investments and everything else. So for 6 months, you're safe. When you get to 6 months of your living expenses in your emergency fund, then I want you to take all of your money and invest it. And it doesn't matter where you invest it, whatever you're comfortable with. Stock market, mutual fund, retirement fund, Roth IRA, wherever, but invest. Do not spend, do not go back to your old habits, do not take your foot off of the accelerator. Fine tune and stick with it. Well, that's about all I wanted to talk about today. Do your research. Do research before you invest in anything. That's should go without saying, but I wanted to make sure I said that. Well, good luck on your roadmap for your finances, and happy investing.